The world of a math struggler is a dark world. It is a world that a child does not understand. He or she just thinks mathematics is difficult. That's what he thinks. Mathematics is difficult. Mathematics is a nightmare. Mathematics is something I dislike. It's something I would like to avoid. But why does he feel that way? The mathematics curriculum is structured in a way that in order to do a higher level question, you have to first master the prerequisite knowledge or skill. To master fractions at primary 6, the child need to master fractions at primary 5 or primary 4. If the child does not master fractions at primary 4 and primary 5, how can the child master fractions at primary 6? So you can see that the curriculum is stacked. Easy skills, on top of it is more difficult skill. Now, if you were to multiply the typical day of a math struggler, a recurrent maths failure, by the number of days, number of weeks, number of months, terms, and even years, do you know what has gotten into his mind? Now, I'm just going to touch on one thing. The internalized wrong strategies for solving a maths problem that he has internalized. Now, what do I mean by this? You see, while his friends, his classmates are busy trying to solve the problem, he too is trying to solve the problem, but he doesn't know what he's doing. All he's clear is if he is doing some work, the teacher will not scold him. Why? Because he is attempting to solve the problem, but he is employing the wrong strategy over and over and over until this wrong strategy is hardwired into his brain. It's hardwired to his brain. It goes into his subconscious. Every time he sees a similar question, he will reproduce exactly the same wrong strategies because it has helped him to survive in the classroom. You cannot just teach him the right strategy because he has internalized the wrong strategy. Internalization of the wrong strategy has become a habit, a mental habit. That means there is a series of actions in his mind that he will undertake in order to solve a maths problem without even thinking. This is automatic. So, frustrated teachers complain. They say, I teach this weak student today, he can show me that he understands. He can duplicate and repeat and demonstrate the right way of solving the maths problem. But you give him the same question a week from now, what happens? He writes rubbish. He's doing the wrong thing. His strategy doesn't make sense. Well, to such teachers and all adults who's concerned about this phenomenon, this is only a natural phenomenon. It demonstrates that the child has internalized the wrong strategy. Otherwise, why would he show that wrong strategy when you have already taught him the right strategy? The point here is this: if your tuition program, if your education program, if your enrichment program, remedial program does not take into consideration the internalization of wrong strategies by the student, you are not going to solve the problem. You have to first find a way to cleanse his mind of the wrong strategies, to prove to the child that the strategy he is employing is wrong. Only then you can disrupt the internalized subconscious strategy in his mind. It's not an easy thing. Ask anyone, ask yourself, is it easy to get rid of a habit? It's very difficult. What more, a habit in the mind? What more, that the person you're teaching is a child? And what more if the teacher does not even understand this process? So do you understand why the Malay Muslim community has had a plateau for the last 20 years? And if this is the first time you're hearing about it, that simply means that the discussion that we have had so far in the community among educators have not gone into that depth. This is one simple thing that has not been understood. I have not heard of anyone talking about this. So why am I talking about this? Because I've made it my business to teach very weak students in mathematics for many years. Why have I done that? Well, I find there's no meaning in teaching students, in giving tuition to students who are already acing the subject. I don't understand why should such students be taught. Tuition programs, as we understand it, should apply only to students who are struggling with the subject. If you have a child who's struggling in mathematics, don't scold your child. You don't need to scold your child. You need to understand the world that he is stuck in and find someone who understands or who's willing to understand the darkness he or she is in and to guide him out of that darkness. Assalamualaikum.